Yellowstone follows the Dutton family, owners and operators of the Yellowstone Ranch. John Dutton is the patriarch of the family, and throughout season 1 he's constantly at odds with Broken Rock Reservation Chief Thomas Rainwater, who wants to reclaim Yellowstone for his Native American community, and land developer Dan Jenkins, who wants to buy up Yellowstone's land. John has 4 kids, Jamie, Beth, Kayce, and Lee. Jamie is a lawyer who tries to position himself as the moral center of the family, but he's not trusted by his father. When the governor of Montana offers him a chance at becoming attorney general, John Dutton gives him an ultimatum: politics or family. Jamie chooses politics and is removed from the Yellowstone family business. In turn, Jamie decides to speak with a journalist looking into stories of murder and manipulation at the hands of the Dutton family on the Yellowstone Ranch. Beth Dutton handles Yellowstone's business affairs and takes charge in trying to keep Dan Jenkins away from the ranch. She's also got an on-again, off-again romance with Rip Wheeler, a ranch hand at Yellowstone who John took in when he was a teenager. Lee Dutton is the most like his father, enjoying life on the ranch and looking to take over his father's legacy whenever the time was right. Kayce Dutton is estranged from his family, living with his Native American wife Monica and their son Tate on the Broken Rock Reservation. But when the feud between the Duttons and Broken Rock escalates, resulting in the murder of Lee Dutton at the hands of Monica's brother Robert, Kayce exacts revenge, killing Robert and moving his wife and son back home to Yellowstone. In season 2 of Yellowstone, rivals John Dutton, Dan Jenkins, and Chief Rainwater are forced into an uneasy alliance to thwart the attempts of the Beck brothers, a couple of villainous real estate moguls. And I do mean villainous. Trying to take the ranch for themselves, the Beck brothers align with a group of white supremacists to try to wrestle Yellowstone from the Duttons by any means necessary. They send men to sexually assault Beth and almost murder her, but luckily Rip intervenes to save her. They send armed men to kill Dan Jenkins, who isn't lucky enough to have Rip save him. And the Becks also orchestrate the kidnapping of Tate Dutton, sending the Duttons into full war mode. The Duttons kill off a lot of white supremacists, and Kayce manages to kill Teal Beck, while John Dutton kills Malcolm Beck. And don't think that Jamie will be the only Dutton keeping his hands clean. Regretting his decision to sell out his family's secrets to a journalist, Jamie ends up killing the journalist and returns to the ranch a broken man, hat in hand. I just want to cut in real quick and tell you about this video sponsor, Extra Wallets. Extra creates simple yet good looking wallets that will truly revolutionize the way you carry your money. I truly love this thing, and I've honestly lost count of the number of times I've pulled it out of my pocket and had people compliment me and ask me where I got my wallet from. Extra wallets are sleek, modern, and minimalist, and so much thinner than a traditional wallet. You can fit 6 cards in the top, and they're all accessible with the push of a button. You can secure more cards or cash in the band here, and this thing is RFID protected, so you'll never have to worry about thieves stealing your credit card information. And if you want a more traditional looking wallet, Extra's got that too. Same great features, but with that added leather fold for additional card carrying possibilities. Extra also helps to ensure you'll never lose your wallet again with their very cool and sleek tracker cards. You connect this thing to an app, you stick it in your wallet, and if you ever misplace your wallet, you can track its location on your phone. And if you're an Apple user, Extra also offers wallets with built-in pockets for Apple AirTags, so you can track your wallet in the Find My app on your phone or Mac. So visit shop.extra.com/recapandchill for 20% off your first order. That's shop.extra.com/recap&chill. These wallets are genuinely incredible and they make the perfect gift. Link is in the description. Now let's get back to the recap. Season 3 of Yellowstone finds the Dutton family trying to move on from their past dramas and continue their simple life on the ranch. John Dutton steps down as livestock commissioner to appease Governor Perry following the violence of season 2. Now he's free to enjoy a semi-retired life on the ranch while teaching his grandson Tate the ropes. In John's stead, Jamie becomes the new livestock commissioner, though his father still doesn't fully trust him. And when Jamie gets offered the interim attorney general job, Kayce Dutton becomes the new livestock commissioner. And that's on top of Kayce being the foreman of the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. Kayce's wife Monica, meanwhile, begins reconnecting with her Native American roots, and even strikes up the beginnings of a partnership with Chief Thomas Rainwater, a rival to John Dutton and his claims to the Yellowstone Ranch. Jamie Dutton's strained relationship with his sister Beth is revealed to be because of his handling of a teenage Beth's abortion. When they were younger, Beth sought after Jamie's assistance in seeking an abortion, and Jamie decided to have her treated at a clinic which required their patients to undergo hysterectomies. Upon this revelation in the present, John Dutton is understandably upset with his son. This further fractures Jamie's relationship with his family, and upon discovering that he was adopted, he goes to meet his biological father, Garrett Randall, who had murdered Jamie's mother when he was a baby. Beth Dutton's work in finances with Schwartz and Meyer and her familial ties to the Dutton Ranch puts her directly in opposition to Market Equities, a firm which wants to buy up Yellowstone Ranch and the surrounding properties to build an airport and ski resort. A representative from Market Equities, Rourke, is tasked with securing the deal by any means necessary, and the Duttons are offered $500 million for their property or face a legal battle that would force them out anyway. But it's not all a struggle for Beth, as she's back on again with her longtime love, Rip Wheeler, and the two get engaged. Rip, meanwhile, continues to lead the ranch hands and hires on Teeter to add a woman to the boys club. Teeter fits right in and forms a relationship with Colby. Jimmy strikes up a relationship with barrel racer Mia, who encourages him to follow his dreams of being a rodeo star. After suffering serious injuries in a rodeo event, John Dutton agrees to pay for Jimmy's medical bills in exchange for promising to give up rodeo and focus on being a ranch hand. But with Mia's encouragement, Jimmy gets back on the horse. The last we see of Jimmy, he's bucked off that horse and lays unconscious, his fate unknown. Rip and the rest of the ranch hands eventually have to deal with Wade Morrow, a neighboring rancher and old rival of John Dutton's. Wade and his son Clint escalate the rivalry throughout the season, eventually leading them to trample Colby and Teeter to near death. It's revealed that Wade and Clint have actually been working for Rourke all season, hoping to bait the Duttons into taking illegal retaliations against the Morrows, which would help Market Equities' case in buying the Dutton Ranch. And the bait eventually works, as Rip and the boys round up the Morrows, killing both father and son. As season 3 comes to a close, the battle between the Duttons and Market Equities comes to a head. Market Equities CEO Willa Hayes has Beth fired from her job at Schwartz and Meyer and is able to convince Jamie and Governor Perry that the airport and ski resort was in the best interest of the people in Montana. But that doesn't mean victory for the firm, as John Dutton is determined to fight for his land and even allies himself with rival Thomas Rainwater to stop the development with a lawsuit. For Rainwater, if an airport and resort were built on the land, he'd never be able to reclaim it for his people. And so, an alliance between himself and John was in both of their best interests. Not content to take the battle into a long drawn-out court case, Willa gives Rourke the go-ahead to do whatever it takes to close the development deal once and for all. As the season comes to a close, the members of the Dutton family are the targets of several assassination attempts, with Kayce being attacked by armed gunmen in his office, Beth having a bomb explode in her old office building, and John being gunned down on the side of the road while helping a stranger change her tire. In season 4 of Yellowstone, we learn that all of the Duttons survived the attacks on their lives, though some suffer worse injuries than others. Unaware of who was behind the attack, Rip takes revenge on the Duttons' current antagonist Rourke by killing him with a poisonous snake. As John recovers from his wounds at the hospital, Beth meets a teenage boy named Carter, who becomes an orphan after his father dies of an overdose. Beth takes Carter home to the Dutton Ranch, where she and Rip take him in. Carter reminds Rip of his own childhood and being taken in and raised by John. Beth is also hired by Market Equities' new CEO, Caroline Warner. From the inside, Beth is able to scheme about how to prevent the firm from buying her family's land. Also recovering from his injuries is Jimmy, who, despite stern warnings from John and the best of medical experts, continues pursuing dangerous rodeo racing. John sends Jimmy to train at the 4-6's ranch in Texas to become a better cowhand. And while there, Jimmy meets and falls in love with a woman named Emily. When Jimmy returns to Yellowstone with Emily as his new fiancée, John gives his blessing for Jimmy to stay in Texas permanently with his new bride, and even pays off Jimmy's extensive medical bills. John and Kayce begin violently taking out the various hitmen involved in the Dutton assassination attempts, hoping to discover the true mastermind behind the plan. Thomas Rainwater helps John identify the man who supposedly orchestrated the hit squads as an imprisoned felon named Riggins. John tasks Kayce with asking Jamie for his help as Attorney General to uncover Riggins' official prison files in the hopes of gaining more information. This was also a test of Jamie's loyalty, as if he was hesitant to assist Kayce, then he must also be involved in the murder plot. Jamie agrees to help Kayce look into Riggins, and what he finds shocks him. Riggins' former cellmate was none other than Garrett Randall, Jamie's biological father, who served a 30-year prison sentence for murdering Jamie's mother. Jamie has been growing close to Garrett, but revelations of his violent past and connections to the Dutton family murder plot has Jamie second-guessing their relationship. Just as Jamie is ready to confront Garrett for his villainous schemes, his ex-girlfriend Christina arrives with the child she claims that Jamie fathered. Jamie cautiously reconciles with Garrett, and his newfound family helps support him in his plans to run for governor of Montana. The current governor of Montana, Linnell Perry, informs John that she planned to run for U.S. Senate and that she would in turn be endorsing Jamie to be elected as her replacement. John, who has an on-again off-again romantic relationship with Perry, warns her of Jamie's disloyalty and incompetence, and confesses his own plans to run for governor. And so Governor Perry publicly endorses John, which infuriates Jamie. John also develops a relationship with an animal rights protester named Summer. Beth orchestrates for Summer's activist group to protest a Market Equities owned site, then arranges for the police to arrive for a violent assault. This creates a PR nightmare for Market Equities, resulting in Caroline firing Beth and promising to steal her family's land and to have her arrested. The violent protest also leads to Summer being arrested and sentenced to 14 years in prison for assaulting the arresting officer. John convinces the judge to lighten Summer's sentence, but remains furious at Beth for her actions, threatening to kick her off the ranch. When Beth gives a sincere apology, John forgives her. Meanwhile, Kayce, Monica, and Tate move into a ranch of their own, and Kayce grows closer to Thomas Rainwater and his right-hand man, Mo. Although Monica discovers that she is pregnant, her and Kayce's relationship is strained when a former Yellowstone ranch hand named Avery re-enters their lives and professes her love for Kayce. When a wolf appears on Kayce's new property, he is encouraged by Mo to go through a Native American ritual. After 4 days of living in the wilderness with no food or water, Kayce has a vision that he thinks promises the end of his relationship with Monica. As the season comes to a close, Beth has a quick and last-minute wedding with Rip before enacting her own plan to ensure the safety of her family and their ranch. After discovering Riggins' connection to Garrett and Jamie, Beth confronts her brother and threatens to publicly disgrace or murder him if he didn't do as she said. And so Jamie kills his biological father Garrett and disposes of his body, all while Beth takes photos of the crime. Beth then returns home to the ranch, where she informs John that they no longer had to worry about Jamie's loyalty, as Beth now owned him.